Hello, this is Shashi Saluna from livetantra.com coming live. And today I'm super excited to be talking all about Kundalini Yoga itself. We're running next weekend a Kundalini Symposium, and that's not just Kundalini Yoga, it's everything Kundalini. We're going to have Taoist experts, Tibetan yoga, Kundalini yoga, Tantric yoga, Qigong masters, just Kundalini experts talking about raising this energy. And included in that, we're going to have our Kundalini class, Kundalini Yoga. So I'm going to invite Casper Veda here to tell us a little bit about what that is. Welcome, Casper.
Hi, Sashi.
So thanks so much for being here to give us a little preview.
My pleasure. Good to see you.
You too. So tell us a little bit. I know a lot of people have heard of Kundalini Yoga. It's very famous. Can you just tell us it's very different from other yoga, right? Because it has a very strong intention. Can you tell us a little bit about why people practice Kundalini Yoga?
Yeah, it's, as you say, it's very different. It's the first time I experienced it, it was actually in New Zealand, and we did this class and we did these long exercises for like 10 minutes. And I was like, what's going on here? We keep on going. When is she going to say we're going to stop? And when I realized when we finally stopped, the whole body was vibrating with this intense energy. And of course, that is the Kundalini energy, is the life force of our body. And as we practice, as we learn to channel this energy, and also as we do in Tantra and as we do in Taoist practices, we try to raise the energy with our intention. Because as we know, where our attention goes, prana flows, energy flows. And what we want to do is we want to raise the energy from the lower chakras, where it's more like dense, we have the bone, it's more dense, everything's more dense, and we want to raise it up to a higher vibration, which is really a connecting energy, a connecting feeling of oneness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The quantum field, right?
Yeah. And there's two forms of Kundalini Yoga as I know it. There's the traditional Kundalini Yoga as it's taught in India, which is like a more Hindu practice. And then there's the Kundalini Yoga that's brought to the West by a guy called Yogi Bhajan, which is, I think it's a mix of his and what he learned in India. And it's, to boil it all down, it works. It's so extreme, it works. It just brings you out of your mind. And I think it's more also like Osho, he came and he brought these meditations to the West because we're so gross, we're so material in the West that we need this very intense, very hard energy realization, this slap in the face pretty much, to feel what is there. And that's what it does. It really brings you there. It forces you there.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it. Like in some ways we're so in our head and not in our bodies. And so to really feel energy again, and also we're not raised to even think about energy. So to feel it, we do need a strong practice. So yeah, great. So can anybody do Kundalini? So if people sign up and come to your class, can anybody join, or do they need to be some prerequisite?
You just fell out there, but I think you asked if everybody can join this. Yeah.
Yes. Can anybody join your class, or do they need to be a yogi or?
No, everybody can join this class, and this is what Kundalini Yoga is it's accessible. Not everybody can sit down and do Kriya Yoga and try to bring up the energy for 2.5 hours up the spine. So that's why we do Kundalini Yoga, to prepare the body and to make it accessible, because it's easier to move in an exercise and move and bring energy up than it is to sit and visualize the energy going up, which is also a practice and it also works. More difficult though, and in the later stage, and also incorporated in Kundalini Yoga, of course.
Right. So that's a really good distinction you make, because I've come across those different practices, and one where you're just kind of meditating on energy, and that can take a long time.
Yeah.
And the ones where you actually breathe and move. So there's a lot of breath, right? Breath is an important part.
Yeah.
And in what way do we use breath in Kundalini?
Well, we use the breath as, I see it as like a push of the energy. I use the breath to push the energy upwards, and be with the energy and flow with the energy, because breath is life, right? If you look at anything in nature, in the ocean, it all breathes. Everything breathes. And with our intention, we breathe with that energy and breathe with life, which really is so beautiful when I say it like that. It's just breathing up that beautiful tantric Kundalini energy.
Oh, that's so amazing. And you were saying earlier, just before this, that what you're going to do in the class on the symposium is help people to move through the spine. So it's, with Kundalini energy, there's a lot of mystery. But one thing I think a lot of people know is that it's an energy that moves up through the spine. Like we're moving from the genitals, from the sacrum, and it's moving up the spine. So we can raise it to higher chakras and higher levels. So yeah, tell us a bit about what you're going to be doing this weekend.
Yeah, well, if we do know a little bit about the chakra system, it starts with the gross, with the more deeper layer, the more lower vibration, and then it raises up the spine. And that's what we want to do, is we want to take, let's say, all that stuck sexual energy or whatever energy is stuck in the lower chambers, in the more gross, in the more dense parts of the body, and we're going to raise it up to the heart and even higher up to the crown chakra. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to, in the practice on Saturday, we're going to move the energy slowly, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up, and then we're going to bring it down again. We're just going to experience what it is to bring up energy and bring it down again, and down again, because it is important to bring it down again, because else we're going to be all scattered. And if you've ever seen Kundalini Yoga, you see them walk around with a turban on, and that is really just so the energy doesn't disperse too much out and we get too crazy. And that's also why we want to have the where am I here?
Lots of hair.
The hair in a rishi knot, so the energy doesn't disperse out. If you see an avatar of a crazy person, the energy is all over, and the hair is all over, because the energy is all over the place. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So the yogi always have this very strict rishi knot in front of their head. Yeah.
I really love that, because in the Taoist system they say the same, that it's so important not to disperse energy, otherwise you're going to be like wandering around like woo and unable to focus on anything. So they don't wear a turban, but they energetically spiral it so that they sort of tighten it in rather than dispersing it out. So it's the same thing. Oh, that's very cool. I didn't know that was the reason for the turban.
Oh, that's the reason. And also, I always say this, if you see an ice hockey player after an interview, after he played ice hockey, he's very hot, he's very warm. You see all that heat raising to his head. And that's also what we're doing with Kundalini Yoga. We practice tension, pressure, stress, and friction in the lower chambers. So like we contract the mula bandha, the sexual organs, the rectum, and we create this friction, and that friction we raise up with the heat. And that's why we want to keep it contained.
That's brilliant. Oh, I love that. So before we close, Casper, would you be interested to share with us how your life has changed since you've been doing Kundalini? A little personal testimonial.
Yes, well, I can tell you I'm now 33, and when I started all this Kundalini thing and all this, I was dense. I was actually more I was heavier, I was thicker, I was less agile, I had less energy. And now I feel flexible, I feel alive, I feel younger, I feel better, I feel stronger. And
wonderful.
Is that a reason enough? I think so. Yeah, I feel great. Yeah, and I love the mysticism behind Kundalini. I'm a big fan of it. I'm like, what is happening inside of me? Can I raise more? Can I feel more? Can I feel more of life? And it becomes a daily sadhana, a daily practice.
Oh, how wonderful. And the good news is it's going to be a replay of your class, so people can do it, repeating every day and build up a daily practice.
Yeah, beautiful. And we're going to practice very early in the morning, as I do myself. I like to practice before the whole world wakes up. I wake up my own energy, and
great.
I really, I hope to see you there.
I will be there. Thank you so much for sharing. Really wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
For the class, and thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you, Sashi.
See you then.
See you then.